Hello everyone, it's Old Guardian here, and I have some good news, because next week we're going to get another balance patch for Hearthstone, probably the last balance patch before United in Stormwind will launch, but anyway, still a little bit of refreshment for the Forged in the Barrens meta. Alec Dawson tweeted, "Few balance changes coming next Thursday, 3 cards in total, looking at Generation and Burst Healing in Priest and hitting on some of the non-games in Druid." And Dylan chimed in that we're expecting to have patch notes up for these changes on Wednesday, so there's a few more days to wait until we get to see what exactly the changes are going to be, and then on Thursday they will be live. But this gives me a good opportunity to try to speculate on what could possibly happen. First of all, the developers talked about non-games in Druid. Well, there are 2 Druid archetypes basically, there's the Primordial Druid and there's the Gibbling Druid. And Gibbling Druid is the strongest Druid deck at the moment, it's quite dominant in fact. You would kind of expect that to be the one that's going to get nerfed, but on the other hand, if you look at Primordial Druid statistics, then Overgrowth is actually the card with the highest mulligan win rate, higher than Gibbling even. So when a Primordial Druid gets an Overgrowth, it's kind of a non-game, so what do you make out of all of that? I still think that the developers are most likely going to be nerfing Gibbling, but I would also have another suggestion, which would be the Nature Studies. Because Nature Studies is used in both. Nature Studies enables explosive Gibbling turns. Nature Studies enables you to use Overgrowth earlier, or Wild Growth earlier. It enables you to discover those. So Nature Studies is actually a card that is behind a lot of power in both of these decks. Then again, nerfing Nature Studies would make it out of sync with all the other Studies spells, because they're all 1-cost spells that discover something and make it cost 1 less. But I think that would still be acceptable. Nature Studies could be changed into 2 mana, or they could remove the discount. Both of those would be fine by me. I think both of those options would slow down some of the Druid non-games. But they're probably going to go with the Gibblings. Then that Burst Healing and Generation in Priest. Well, the Burst Healing in Priest primarily comes from Apotheosis and Blademaster Samuro. And then, boom, that's like a Reno Jackson. Then of course there's also Renew. Renew is pretty sweet. Renew is also part of the Generation thing, and then Palm Reading is one of the strongest Generation cards. These 4 cards are also at the top of the drawn win rate of all the Priest decks basically, so these are some of the most potent cards available to Priest. I think it's unlikely that they would nerf Blademaster Samuro. Blademaster Samuro is a neutral card, it's also used in multiple other archetypes than Priest, so would they want to nerf all of those other archetypes as well? I think that's unlikely, so they're going to target some of the other ones. And overall, my prediction for the nerfs would be that they will put Gibbling to 2 mana, stop some of those explosive early turns. They could change Renew to 2 mana. Because then when Renew costs 2 mana, then that means that you don't get it from Wandmaker randomly anymore, so you get fewer Renews, and with Renew costing a little bit more, you're not able to clear up boards as easily with Xerella, for example, with Renew. You're not able to make your Renew cost 0 with Palm Reading. There would be a lot of upsides to putting Renew to 2 mana. And then Apotheosis, I think they would hit those stats instead of the cost, like Apotheosis to +1/+2. That would mean that the Blademaster Samuro attacking with the Apotheosis deals less damage, doesn't burst heal as much, and if you also hit the health, then that means that Blademaster Samuro with Apotheosis would die to something like a giant. That wouldn't always survive to use its frenzy effect. Although I still hope that they will touch Nature Studies instead of Gibbling, but 3 cards are going to be nerfed next week, and these are my predictions on what Blizzard is going to do. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the content, please click the like button, subscribe to my channel, and check out my Twitch channel.